sort of unfolding and sort of come to life about one CM Punk, Philip Jack Brooks. So I'm going to throw to you. Talk to us. Well, what's going on? And inform myself and the listeners. Well, what's happening?
Well, it's not really like a groundbreaking story about CM Punk, but Dave Meltzer spoke about him today and pretty much said that Punk could be ready to go, ready to return to the ring in April. And according to him, there's been no attempt at forgiveness or mending the fences between, the Elite and CM Punk. And I guess Tony Khan, there's been a lot of discussion going on. So really, with that being said, do you want to see CM Punk back in AEW? Are you interested? Is there a thirst out there where you're like, I need to see CM Punk content?
I think having him back to do some form of a program with the Elite after what happened at that so infamous media scrum, I think something must surely happen. If Punk returns, and we're assuming he will, that'll be AEW's most must-see storyline in their history, I would say. CM Punk and the Elite sometime in the summer, I'd assume. Kevin, that would be... we'd be making lots of content on that. That would be something which would be actually relevant and must-see, which is something AEW hasn't had in months, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, to me, I'd be interested if that happened. If Punk comes back and it's just him picking up right where he left off and doing another MJF storyline for 5 months. Do you, Kevin, care to see that? Because I can't say I do. That's just, okay. Sure, if Punk just comes back to have more matches with Darby Allin and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, really? But if Punk comes back and it's a big-time main event storyline, which is super heated and personal with the Elite, that's money. I would care about that. I'd really want to see him back if they did that.
Yeah, I would tell you what I would do if I had the pencil. If I was Tony Khan, this is how I would book it. I think you have to go like Matt Hardy and Edge for 2005. Just let it all unfold on television. Let Punk, let the Elite, let them all go out there and express their frustrations and turn a work into a shoot, brother. And that's really not the only way, but that'd be the best way to garner interest. That's what I would do. But I think a lot of us that are listening, a lot of us that like that style of wrestling would do, and a lot of people listening would want to see done. But realistically, more than likely with AEW, what we're going to get is a lot what you were talking about. It's going to be, okay, here's Punk versus Darby Allin. Oh, Punk versus MJF again. Punk's having a great match with Daniel Garcia on Rampage, if he does come back. And yeah, I would like to see that. I'm not against that. Having CM Punk back in wrestling is good for the business overall. It's good for AEW. He's their biggest star. There was a little bit of a void when CM Punk was gone, and he filled that void by coming back. I mean, yeah, you could say, a lot of people would argue maybe he's past his prime. That's a whole different discussion. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, CM Punk is still a big star, so I wouldn't be against him coming back, but I wouldn't be as intrigued if he just came back and was like, all right, here I am, pal. And have a great match with Anthony Ogogo.
Yeah, it would have to be what you pitched, with as personal and as real a storyline with the Elite as possible. That's the way to go. That really is. A several month long hated main event storyline, which is something that, Kevin, has AEW honestly had some... I mean, Punk and MJF was really good about a year and a bit ago. That was a genuinely interesting main event style long-term story. I'll give them that. But outside of that, has AEW really done many in the past year or two big-time attention-grabbing main event programs or feuds? Because if they do this, if Punk comes back and if it's a Matt Hardy and Edge style storyline over Punk's issues with management and how they're poorly running the company and what happened at that fateful media scrum night and everything that encompasses that, the Elite saying that they never liked Punk or respected him, they only brought him in because Tony Khan wanted him, stuff like that, and they really get personal with it, then I'd be watching AEW, particularly that segment, with a lot of interest week to week. If they don't do that, I'll probably carry on as I'm doing right now. And the only AEW stuff I'll even tune into is that like MJF car crash promo or stuff that actually jumps off the page as like eyebrow raising, because elsewhere, most of what's going on, I just don't care about.
Yeah, I feel a lot of the same, honestly. I mean, for me, when it comes to Punk at this point, yeah, like I said, I don't think there's a real need to see CM Punk every single week on AEW TV, on WWE TV. Honestly, I'd probably be more intrigued by a Punk WWE return than an AEW return at this point. I feel like he kind of worked with everyone at AEW. I mean, what was left for him to do? He worked with Moxley. He worked with MJF. He worked with Eddie Kingston. Really, like, the biggest match that we didn't get was him and Kenny Omega. And I think they're doing a disservice to their fans that they're not doing that right away upon Punk's return. Doesn't have to be for championships. Doesn't have to be for anything. It could just be Punk and Kenny Omega just talking about how they feel about the other professionally.
Well, that's sorry, as you say, that's the only thing that's really left of captivating interest that Punk not needs to do. Because, I mean, Punk doesn't need to do anything. He's done the MJF feud. He's worked Moxley. He's had a bunch of matches with up-and-coming talent. He's cut some very memorable promos in AEW. He's done all that. There's been the media scrum. He's been a two-time world champion. All this. But really going forward, outside of Jon Moxley, what is there for CM Punk in AEW? Oh, he can feud with Adam Cole. Oh, he can have a rematch with ex-wrestler he wrestled on Rampage. Oh, Punk feuding with Team Taz. Like,
Do you want to see a backstage segment where they reenact the media scrum? where you got like CM Punk chilling in the locker room eating a muffin. You got his dog over there. He's chilling with his coach. Then all of a sudden, the Elite just barge through the door and they just start fighting each other. We get a pull apart. We get like Tony Schiavone's in there. They're getting thrown around by some trainer or something.
Kevin, if they, I don't even know if they could do this legally, to be honest, but if they could book that feud and have a Dynamite, for instance, where Kenny Omega is literally saying 1 week, I've had it with this. I've had it with your lies, Phil. You're slandering us. We've heard this for months and months. We're going to show you. We're going to air the video next week on Dynamite of what really went down on that night of the media scrum. And then what they can do is literally air that. If they have the CCTV footage of what went down, or they could reenact something, or something like that, that would get, I don't know, for me, I can only speak for myself really in this case, and I don't know about you, but I'd be like, oh my God, I'm tuning into Dynamite. Kenny's got footage. What? How are they going to progress this? How's Punk going to react? How good's the footage? Like, is this a rib? Like, what's going on? Something like that would make me and many others tune into Dynamite. Ratings would be well over 1 million for that if they booked it that way. Instead, the ratings are floundering in the 800s and there's no buzz right now. So, yeah, they can do something great with this if Punk comes back, but if not,
Yeah, you get like an awful BTE clip showing on Dynamite. You got like Brandon Cutler and the Young Bucks and whoever, Adam Page and the Librarian, all reenacting the AEW media scrum.
That's awful.
Oh, that'd be so bad. It'd be so bad that people would talk about it, though. It'd be like a car crash.
Oh, yeah. I bet yes, they've actually showed it, but once again, I think for just purely legal, if it was legit, legally, I don't think they could do it, to be honest. But
right.
If it was at any way of work, or they wanted to be edgy or be on the precipice of cutting edge content, that's how you do it, pal.
Yeah, you get a BTE skit where like you got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks pretending to work at Target. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that I could realistically see happening. You have Kenny Omega like looking at the camera like, Phil thought we couldn't run a Target.
Yeah, literally a whole segment of them running a Target as managers in Rancho and like Cucamonga. You've got the Young Bucks, you've got Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler, they've got Target outfits on. You can have like a wrestler or two come in and be like, oh, I always thought you couldn't manage a target. Now you can. You look like random Joe Blow, just like Dave says on Twitter, or something. They can make funny inside jokes, but yeah, stuff like that it wouldn't even be that bad. Like that'd be compelling, a bit more interesting content. I'd be tuning in, and I'm not now. So that'd be the main thing.